Hello, welcome to this month's CartoonStock Caption Contest judging. We have an artist here today, Todd Condron, Lawrence Wood, Joel Mishon, and Bob Mankoff. So I guess first let's kick things off with a little chat with Todd.
Yeah, let's chat with Todd. Todd is a wonderful cartoonist who I just want to inform you, cheapskate caption contest entrants, that you can actually buy these cartoons. Todd has 329 on CartoonStock.com. But
1,000.
So I mean 1,329. 1,329. And yeah,
I should say we didn't sign Todd. Todd was part of CartoonStock before his coming, and has been a contributor to Airmail. And yeah, it's great to have him.
Yeah, I think I see your first So you've been part of CartoonStock. Looks like your first cartoons maybe were uploaded around 2013 or something.
Right.
Yeah. You know, we translate all your cartoons into. Well, first, we translate them into English if you get it wrong, and then we get into Spanish, French, Italian, Japanese, German, Portuguese.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And you have huge fans in all those places. I just want to tell you. So you'll be feted if you go to Portugal. So give me a background. With great Todd really does really good, solid cartoons. It's actually the hallmark of like a professional cartoonist, that the jokes work. So how long have you been doing this? From the gray in your beard, and I can tell you. Yeah.
I've been doing this, since actually high school and college. I was interested in editorial cartooning back then. And so for my early years were focused on editorial cartoons. After college, I did some freelancing for some local papers, did sports cartoons for a newspaper, some illustration work, and eventually about 25 years ago or so, I started getting more interested in the single panel gag cartoons.
Yeah.
And that's been my focus in recent years. That's pretty much all I do in terms of cartooning right now.
So what's your week like in terms of you look pretty prolific in doing this stuff? How do you how do you go about?
I usually I come up with ideas all the time. It can be any time of the day, but I do my drawing on weekends. I have a day job that has nothing to do with cartooning or the creative field. So most weekends I try to put in a few hours.
And how many usually turn out a week?
It varies. I usually I aim for about 10 a month. That doesn't always happen. Yeah. Life can get in the way. But it actually works out to be maybe 100 or so a year, because I do finish. I like to have them finished. I don't do rough drafts. And
yeah, well, that's great. I think that's an enormous advantage. And just saying that, it looks like you upload pretty regularly once you do them, right?
I do.
Yeah. So that's a message to all you other cartoonists.
Yeah, I was going to say. Bob and I we're our favorite cartoonist of the day. So
so that's great. So let's get to this.
Absolutely.
Let's get through this contest, which was an interesting image. And
in general, I was pretty happy with the entries. I thought it was a little bit more difficult, and there were a lot of good.
Well, I thought it was some of the entries. Most of the entries are just crap. But we won't say that. People have no idea how to write it.
We'll fix that in post production.
But we don't shame it. I mean, there's no caption shaming here.
No,
we don't do that. But I think you know who you are. But originally, I asked Trevor, and I could see when I blew it up that they were sandwiches. I thought originally they were drinking, like steins of beer or something. and a few of the captions seemed to think they were drinking also. I mean, there's a few captions about beer. There's maybe
there was some, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, ultimately it's a sinkhole or a hole in the ground. There's a car in a hole. You don't necessarily know if it was them. Who knows? But two guys are standing over a hole.
So Todd, in your, this is like the classic question. You created this. You didn't create this cartoon particularly for the caption contest. This was a cartoon you had done before.
Correct.
Fit the bill. So
yes.
Do you remember what your process is in creating a cartoon like this, in which there's a weird element? There's a weird element. Somehow it's got to be resolved by the caption. And did you start are you like a doodler? Like for images like this, someone like Jack Ziegler would have been a doodler. In other words, he would have been fooling around. He wouldn't necessarily have had a caption. For someone like Jack, it would be almost like it would be like, this is clearly a kind of cartoon in which you didn't think of the line first, because that wouldn't make any sense. Right? It wouldn't make any sense. So how did you come about coming up? You don't tell us what your line was yet, but how did you come about?
Sure. Well, I came up with it. This isn't the way I usually come up with ideas, but I was just thinking about eating sandwiches over a sink. I remember back when I was a kid, my parents were big fans of some series of detective novels where the hero would eat sandwiches over the sink and everybody loved him for it.
But a regular sink, not a sinkhole.
Right. It started with a regular sink. And then I thought it might be funny to make it a sinkhole. And
I see it like an associational train. That's interesting. And so then you thought it was funny, right? Or something. Okay, if the sandwich is over a sink, doesn't make for that great a cartoon.
Right.
And wait a second. Were your parents that? I should actually eat sandwiches over a sink, because whenever I'm eating a sandwich, things are dropping all over the place. But so why were your parents eating sandwiches over a sink?
They talked about that. They loved the character in a book who did it. So
the character in the book. In the book ate sandwiches over a sink.
It was back in the 70s or 80s, and I
see. So then, I see. So that's interesting. Then you came up with this eating sandwiches over a sinkhole, and then you figured to put the car in there.
I just added the car to make it look more like a sinkhole.
Oh, that's right, because that's what's often happening, right? Which is like worst case scenarios is your car ends up in a sinkhole. Yeah, so it was a good image. Yeah,
good image.
Yeah, a really good image.
So this week we actually had a lot in common. We had 11 captions that were shared across. I know, so we'll have to cut some immediately. I do have them on the image here, so we'll run through these 11.
Yeah.
Hang in there, Dave. This is as fast as we can.
I love that one. I love that one. I mean, I definitely picked that one, but I thought that was as fast as we can chew.
Yeah. There is. I would like to see. I love this one too. I'd like to see a comma after Dave, or like that, or just something about the double exclamation point.
Yeah, I know, but yeah.
I still like this one a
lot. Right. I mean, but I can't ding someone really for that.
Not.
Also, I think it works in this scenario, because they would be.
You can't always say is that. Does the backstory, does it somehow make sense within the world of a cartoon? You know what I mean? Does it, make sense? So I think there were funny things. But why don't you,
it does look like that they're trying to eat fast too, in a way. So I think that one's great. Be careful, you're getting crumbs all over my car.
So that was good, right? And this is where you have to give some latitude, right? Because I picked that, and then I looked at it closely, and I figured, oh, maybe Lawrence is going to say, yeah, but they're both getting crumbs.
Yeah, and this actually
no.
They're both getting crumbs. I
don't know if it's the same person, but there was, be careful, you're spilling crumbs all over my car.
I see.
I
thought
maybe
that
that's
was
what I chose.
yes, both were chosen.
I mean,
one was chosen twice. One was chosen once.
I think the basic idea behind this is these people are morons.
Yeah,
it's an idiot joke over and over again, right?
Yeah.
They're ignoring this very serious thing which doesn't make sense.
But also, what's nice about that one, just to go back to it, is that it's taking a common statement. I mean, if you're in someone's car and you're having a sandwich,
I like that.
know this because I've done this. And they really care about the car. They'll complain.
Yeah, that's right. I hate those people because I'm the one.
I hate those people too.
I'm the one getting crumbs all over the car. Sometimes I actually just buy a bag of crumbs.
Having shared an office with Bob, I can attest to the crumbs.
Yeah.
Why did they send us for heroes? I'm from Philadelphia. The word is hoagie, but I understand what you're getting with heroes here.
Yeah, it got confused me.
No.
You're leaking oil. Good sandwich one.
Yeah.
You really drove that car into the ground. I thought
I selected that and then I eliminated it. It was just, I mean, it's a pun. Yeah, it's there.
This is similar to the first one. 2 more bites and then we check for survivors.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, I think we have to pick between those, the first one and this.
Yeah.
I like this one. Yeah, especially it's a little more understated than the 2 explanations.
I do like it, the idea of
what I like about the chewing as fast as we can is crazier.
Yeah, there's something I think that's funnier about
it adds crazy. It made me laugh in that this whole, it's a sort of funny phrase, chewing as fast as we can. He's not saying eating as fast as we can. Anyway,
Survivors adds a nice dark twist.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be, well, we can have time to decide between those two, but nearly identical. Tony's really craving Chinese. The Chinese ones did make me laugh. There were several about digging to China. And,
Tony, yeah, it just, about tariffs in China.
I think it's just about digging to China.
Yeah, getting to China, which doesn't seem like a good way to do it.
No.
I guess it's Tony is even dumber than them because he thought that a sinkhole actually was an Elon Musk boring tunnel.
There were several Elon Musk ones. There goes the neighbor.
Yeah, I picked that, then I eliminated it.
The important thing is, other than our wives,
this was too misogynistic.
There were. I want to quickly agree with that. I didn't like any of the woman driving ones.
Well, what about the one in which
there were several messages?
What's the caption with it's something, and then the punchline, I'll tell you where I buried your parents.
So.
And then this one is there are several variations of this.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right.
But I think there were some better ones that went after the same joke.
And then it's almost like a meme, but the idea of saying, "Hey,"
I had maybe a more, another jump in the association where the guy's saying front wheel drive. He says front wheel drive.
Right, and then another twist on the same one is you can't park there, but that's almost like a meme. Like we go to MBAs at the fire department, and we're like, "Hey, you can't park there," while it's like wrapped around a tree. Like it's just like it's a joke everybody makes.
I see.
But it is funny to say, "Hey, you can't park there." Just give that a shout out. Bummer about the chips and drinks and Todd. I do like when they give the.
That was one of the ones I picked.
Yeah,
I like when they make fun of the cartoonists, so I'll give them credit for.
I don't know that they really, but maybe they were.
Well, there was a shot at Lawrence in one of these, I remember.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And then an early one for my least favorite pun was like the San Andrea car pits or something like that.
I picked that because I thought it was.
Oh, you picked it?
I thought it was. It was a good pun.
All right, so let me share our Number ones. If we can quickly knock down a couple, we don't have to get to six.
I think we can easily do that.
Yeah, I think immediately. I think the sexist one we can knock out. The why.
Yeah. You really drove that car into the ground. We can knock out.
That one should go first. But okay.
I
have to. Even though I know I'm going to lose this, I will defend what you're describing as the sexist joke one, because there were definite sexist jokes there, Trevor. I've noted a couple of them. Women make great sandwiches, but lousy drivers was really awful.
What was the one that we just eliminated? Or what's it again?
The important thing is that other than our wives, no one was hurt. You see, I don't think that's sexist. I just think it's like dark comedy. I just don't.
I guess the fact that she's driving is.
Well, no, because it wasn't a lady driver's joke, was it? It was just they don't care about their wives joke.
Well, it doesn't take into account the eating. I mean, I think you have to take into account the whole.
I've got a theory on that as well, because I think that their sandwich eating is just a kind of a visual sign of their callousness. They just, rather than a kind of a.
I don't know. You got to take into account. I mean, if anything that would where a cartoonist doesn't put something in unless it's somehow relevant. Okay, that joke. No cartoonist would have people eating sandwiches with that line. So that's the way I'm evaluating it. No cartoonist would have come up with that line and then have them eating sandwiches. And that's sort of my ground truth in it, or as close as I want to get. Like if a cartoonist is putting things in there, he's going to try to resolve it in some way that makes sense. It's not, there are things that could be just, grace notes or ungraceful notes or whatever you want to call it in, but here, no. Like the crumbs, bummer about.
There goes the neighbor. No one really even made a.
Wait. Before you do that, because I have something to say about that one. Can we knock out Chinese?
Yeah.
I like. There were a couple Chinese ones I did like, but okay, we'll take it out. That's not going to be a winner for me.
I don't know the digging.
I mean, going to China, through a sinkhole.
And then I would also knock out your leaking oil. I get it, but
I want to keep that one in for a little.
Okay,
that one relates to the sandwiches so clearly.
Can we knock out heroes?
Well, who is who? One of the guys is saying you're leaking oil to who?
Well, the joke is it's your sandwich or the car. It's both things are.
Yeah, you're leaking oil. You wouldn't say that to someone who was eating a sandwich, no matter what.
Well, in this situation, I think
you're obsessing on the sandwiches, but I think heroes could go, which is a full-on sandwich joke. But I think it could definitely go.
Why did they send for heroes? I'm okay with taking that one out. Now we're flying through these.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right.
I'm just feeling miffed because a lot of the ones that I picked have already disappeared. So I might. I'm really.
Well, we'll get a chance.
There goes the neighbor. Explains hardly anything because if it was.
But stop, because that's for the last one of my batch. There.
if it was his house, I would say there goes.
Okay,
the
look. Let Joel down easy and keep that in for now.
I will also defend it because I thought it was a nice twist on There Goes the Neighborhood.
I did too. I mean, so I will say originally that's among the batch I have.
It's too transient.
But then it doesn't have a there goes the neighbor.
Yeah. The car is not part of a neighborhood.
Or the fact that the car went in it. I don't know why.
The car is
Well, there goes the neighbor. Maybe it is actually okay in a way, in that originally, we've talked about this. Originally, I do react to it and like it. Okay, it's the kind of caption in which it ends so fast, it sort of falls off a cliff, and it gives you a funny feeling when you first see it. Absolutely, because there goes you're expecting neighborhood, and it ends in neighbor. So it does have an immediate effect.
It would work so much better if it was a house in a sinkhole. A car is just such a transient thing.
I agree.
Anything else. I don't. I guess I just don't have. I'm like, it's
the
their neighbor.
Somebody has to be driving the car.
It's like there's a big stretch that it's their neighbor and doesn't explain anything else.
Well, how do neighbors leave their house if they don't have a car? It's perfectly vaginal.
I guess if I was editing,
I think Joel is making the case that these people don't have a house and they live in the car.
Oh, it's a homeless.
All
right, wait. Let me attack Bob.
but we need,
I think that we could get rid of the chew caption only because I like it, but it's the same joke as Survivors.
well,
and
I know, but
we are not.
as fast as we can chew is funny.
Let me go and
attack
the unitary. First of all, I'm getting very, very tired of the cartoon stock deep state, which is trying to thwart my decisions. And that is a funny caption. I don't care if it's like the other caption. Sometimes they compete.
The idea of chewing fast is funnier than the idea of being like one more bite.
Well, we're chewing as fast as we can.
Well, Todd,
it's just funny in and of itself.
Todd, do you have a favorite?
As fast as we can.
I didn't pick it initially, but this is as fast as we can chew. I think that's the funniest line.
Okay.
Funnier than two more bites.
Thank you, cartoonist.
We're getting rid of Survivors, but keeping oil?
No, but these two are too similar to keep both.
Are they? One is dark and one is not. Well, one's much darker than that.
I think the way the caption contest finally ends is we just argue and we can't agree.
All right. Okay.
Well, we can fight to get him back in. Let's go.
Well, we have 6 now.
Yeah.
Now we do have. I just wanted to get out a couple, but we were all very quick to cut right there. This is the doge of.
Yeah, we were just.
All right, Bob. We'll go with yours here. If you
All
have
right,
any you want to
wait a second. These are all. Yeah, that's not so good. Front wheel drive is like the reverse thing. Bummer about the chips and drink. And Todd is funny. On Wonder Wheel left a big gulp. That's not good. I sort of like, I'm sure it'll buff out because that's what as someone who periodically, due to dementia, crashes my car into things. That's what I'm always hoping. La Brea Cart Pits, I thought that was a funny pun, but I wouldn't go with it. Crumbs all over the car is good. 2 more bites and we'll check the Survivors. Everybody likes that. I'll pick the next pit stop. Okay, no good. And in there, Dave, this is as fast as we can chew. So it's not chewing. Anyway, so I really like, the ones I really like. What's going on here?
Sorry, moving around. I just wanted to add, there was a missing punctuation on that one.
But we see multiple same captions. Anyway. This was just the ones that we agreed.
Yeah, these are just yours here, yeah. All right, so Bob, any others that you want to add to the 6? Or you're happy with these?
No, I mean, I just say I think Bummer should be in. Crumbs over the car. So those are the only ones that other people agreed on.
Those are in there. For me, I did have some of these, the same ones. Hunger. This one's like a cartoonist one. I always knew the car was a lemming. Obviously,
I mean, originally I had that all. I'm just saying, all of these are better than a lot of the other ones.
Yeah.
Originally when I went through, I guess there were 324. I did select that. But
and then just this because this one kind of bridges the caption. There's his insatiable hunger. His eating makes him think. But I'm happy with the ones that we have in there. Yeah. This one wouldn't be a winner, but I did think it was clever as far as cartoons go. The trope of the lemmings. And
I think we can all be very proud of our choices, even if they're not ultimately selected.
All right, Lawrence.
Okay, I've already said what I have to say about There Goes the Neighbor. I like Bummer. Looks like a U Problem's not that great. Reverse I put in there, but I don't really like it that much. I don't like it as much as the others. I hope we didn't spill our drinks. I thought was actually good because they don't have drinks. They just have their sandwiches and the drinks are still in there.
Well, I guess I had one do you think the big gulp is still in there? So
Yeah, but this, I don't know. The spiller drinks I like more than Big Gulp, but it doesn't have to be in there. Now, this next one I love. This one I'm going to fight for.
All right.
I did hear some yelling, but that was a couple days ago. I just think,
I mean, that's funny, but once again, I guess maybe we don't have enough ones that actually take into account what they're doing, what they're eating, and stuff.
I mean, that one is different, but I think that one's funny. I'll put it in the image.
The next one, be careful, you're spilling crumbs all over my car, is not as good as the one Bob liked. I think this next one is a good one, a good variation on have you tried putting it in reverse? He's trying, but the front tires keep spinning in the mud. 2 more bites we already have. And I sold the hazard signs and bought lunch. I thought was clever. It explained what happened in
that maybe that's interesting. That seems sort of unique. I don't think any of the reverse spinning the mud, that's so all very. I guess one of the things that's just really obvious when anybody is looking at it, or when I was looking at it.
Right.
I mean, somehow it's not 4-wheel, it's this or that, or giving some instruction to back it out. But
I think you're right. And I would argue actually that we get rid of all the reverse, put it in reverse type jokes. And then I would replace it with I sold the hazard signs and also with
I guess they just don't look like, what are they? In this one, you're imagining that they're street workers.
Or who knows? Or they just saw the hazard signs around the sinkhole. They decided we could sell these for a couple bucks and use the money to buy sandwiches. And maybe they weren't street workers.
I would almost like it more if it was the guys in the car somehow, like they had sold.
I'm not gonna.
We shouldn't drive at night, or you got rid of the headlights or something for sandwiches. But
it was different. I didn't see anything like it. And
I think that's always we have lots of ways to evaluate this, and I mean, in general, in cartoons, what is the sliding scale, and originality is sort of important. It can be actually sort of less funny in a way based on something else, but if it's also original or another take on it, which is it
explains what happened, and it incorporates every aspect of the cartoon. It addresses the sinkhole, it addresses the car, it addresses the sandwiches.
No question, it's the perfect caption.
So the two that
may actually be the height of caption contest. But
I'm not so thrilled about that one, but I'll put it in there. We discussed it.
I like how the rationality fights with subjectivity, right? When you don't like something, you cannot, except here, you can't possibly talk anybody into a joke. It's interesting, but I will go along with what he says. So,
any favorites here?
This was all overwhelming. It's my first time.
I know, this is like you should get like combat pay for something like this. I thought this was going to be just simple and friendly. It wasn't going to be.
There's so many.
Monty Python. I didn't expect the Spanish Inquisition.
Several of these were already in the mix, but I do like that the last one at the bottom. The bigger mystery is how you can enjoy a sandwich with no cheese. For some reason that made me laugh. But overall, I tried. I knew the original caption. I was looking for things that captured the eating sandwiches in sinkholes. So anything that referenced that was kind of those were my go-to.
Don't you have? Let's never go back to eating over the kitchen sink. That's just like a nostalgia for your childhood and your parents that nobody would even ever understand.
Well, this one was interesting because Todd, when I put this together, and I look at these before, and we don't know anyone who submits them. We don't know the original or anything like that. I choose mine. I get the original from Todd, and Todd put one in that was so similar to his original. I think it's going to go out of order here and quickly talk about that. But Todd, what was your original caption?
Okay, it's. I forgot how satisfying it is to eat a sandwich over a sinkhole.
Oh, I see.
So when Todd,
there was one like that, which was an interesting.
This one, doesn't food always taste better when you're eating it over a car-filled sinkhole? And I just had to write Todd. I was like, yo, like this caption contest, like it's not where no one's supposed to know the original. It's not supposed to be a scene before cartoon. Like, did anyone see it? Is it a relative of yours? And he was like, no, I liked it because it was similar to our original. But it did. At first, I was like, oh no, someone's seen this.
It's a weird caption.
Yeah, it's weird that they're both so similar.
It's a weird one in that it's a little bit like a meta caption in a way. It's like it's sort of a fooling around caption, right? Which you're creating something sort of weird and not expected, and kind of showing off within the caption itself. I mean, I mean, originally that was one of the ones I picked. I thought it was, it was different, certainly.
But one day, I guess we'll get a caption where it's the actual original caption is the winner. But I did find that very interesting that it's his almost identical one. So Todd, is there any other ones? I did put your no cheese in there to debate, but you have another one?
I do like the bummer about the chips and drinks and Todd, whether they were referring to me or not. And you're leaking oil.
Well, Todd is funny. Or
it's always a funny name.
The funny name, it's sort of funny. Todd works better than Bill or Steve or Mike, right? There's something about Todd that
I've been living with it all my life.
Yeah. What do you think it is about Todd?
I don't know. It's
he's right next to you.
So if it was Kevin, you wouldn't think it was as funny? And Kevin?
Yeah, it was similar. It's similar.
Yeah,
it's like an upper class. It's like a name that you might associate with money or education or whatever that you wouldn't with, Joe.
Yeah, Bob.
Right, and
he was like that snooty character in an '80s teen movie.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Brad.
Yeah.
Brad. Yeah. Okay.
All righty, Joel.
Good.
Well, I got shot down on everything before we even started this, so this would be a very short position for me. There Goes the Neighbor. We've talked about. I can't remember if it's still in there. I feel it should be, because the fact that it doesn't finish the There Goes the Neighborhood, I like.
Well, yeah, I think that can make the final. Don't you think? There Goes the Neighbor.
I can't remember if it's still in there, but if it isn't, it should be. I thought of the reverse jokes. The one that I liked was Try Reverse, just because it was the shortest, and it felt like if you're going to go for that one, you want to do it in as few words as possible. To be honest, I did struggle with these. I didn't find this. I thought it was quite thin, this contest. I didn't think there was any really standout ones compared to some other weeks we've had. So it's not my fault that I haven't got a good selection. It's definitely everybody else.
Look, there's plenty of blame there's plenty of blame to.
I was actually surprised by how many decent.
Yeah, I thought it was a surprisingly good one.
Yeah, I thought this was I think it's a great cartoon, but it's challenging for the content.
I thought this would be harder. I'm glad.
Well, it's challenging, and I would say, I mean, a lot of Todd's cartoons, the cartoons that Todd does that are on CartoonStock have meaning. While you're not an editorial cartoonist, there's another layer. You're making some other point, right? And so this cartoon has no other point, or it could. I mean, to me, if you somehow, going back to Lawrence's book about the caption contest. You know, most of them don't have any meaning, but every once in a while you get ones that could function as a real cartoon. It would be a good cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Good cartoon, and I don't think you really see that here.
There's a good change of pace. The last contest was cats and a psychiatrist, and there's so many tropes and so many things easily.
Yeah, well, you're right.
This one you actually had to think, and I like the captions.
Well, yeah, you're right. When you're dealing with an unusual picture, in which I don't know how many, if we go up on how many cartoons there are with sinkholes, and there might be, or starting now, Todd might have created a new trope.
Yeah. So while you've been
if it's a trope,
not another sinkhole cartoon.
No, if it's a trope, then other things can start to be in the sinkhole that these guys are looking at. In fact,
I've gathered desert island in a sinkhole.
I've gathered my thoughts while you've been nattering, and I've just remembered a few that I want to mention. So it's my turn with the laser pointer. It's exactly the same joke, Lawrence, as your. We used we bought our sandwiches with the hazard light money or whatever it is. I suppose your one is better, but it's the same sentiment.
So I don't even understand. It's my turn with the laser pointer.
So the backstory is they've just been flashing it in people's eyes until they fall down the hole. Until they drive.
But it doesn't.
No, that's not the same. That's not the same. Is that Lawrence is just one of, I don't know, we don't know who they are. They've come on this or they've seen it. And instead of helping, they've sold and then there was a big accident. There were hazard signs put up by the.
But their mischievousness has caused an accident. That's the connection, I would say.
Yeah, but there's no connection.
But the laser pointer do people do that with cars or just with
like airplanes? I don't. Yeah, I mean.
Well, that just deepens the joke, Bob, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
And then second to that, the sandwich element, it just underlines their callousness. So
Joel is getting increasingly testy in these the whole other side, you know. And but don't go on Skype though. You still have to. You're obligated to become a member of Okay, let's.
Oh, and then so the last we have the top 10. This is actually in order. Have you tried putting it in reverse? Look, some morons composting a Buick. Did you tip the delivery?
Originally I thought that was funny, but then it just didn't really make sense, did it? Wasn't there another one in which they are trapping cars, in which they're going to cover it again with grass?
Yeah. There was a minus.
There was a Subway one where it's like a Subway sandwich ones too. I tried to put in my top 10, but you tip delivery guy. You really drove the car to the ground. Grown. She'll do anything to avoid parallel parking.
If this is how they judge it, no wonder so many of those captions were crap.
Bob, these are our customers.
These are our customers. That's it. It seems like that's almost a line for a caption.
Well, it could have been worse.
These are our customers. No, they're not our customers. They don't buy a damn thing.
We lose money on it.
If they were our customers, if they can show a certificate of purchase for at least one of Todd or anybody else's cartoons, then we won't besmirch their character.
This one's not terrible. Well, it could have been worse. We could have left our lunch in the car.
Yeah, that's actually not bad.
This works much better than speed bumps. I don't really even.
Trying to slow down cars.
Yeah.
Dinner's on me if you tell my wife you were driving. The realtor said there was underground parking.
No.
Bummer about the chips and drinks and Todd.
All right, they got that one right.
So I'm going to throw this one in there just to give the public a little more love, because we do like them, our customers. We can, I guess we can, if you want to see any on the image, or let's maybe knock some out before I put them in. If you feel.
Yeah, we're at 10 again.
Yeah, now we're back up to 10.
I would knock out reverse just because it's an obvious joke.
Okay.
Okay.
I would look out leaking oil. it just feels, again, I feel that falls into the obvious.
I would
category.
knock that one out too.
Out.
All right, can we trade that for neighbor too? Because I'm just not gonna.
Sure.
with that.
Sure.
Okay.
I would knock out mystery.
Yeah, I would too. So what does that leave now?
That would leave us with 6.
All right, so we got 6, and
Todd, you okay with that one? I know.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I told you I was overwhelmed.
Todd just wants this call to end.
wait a second. Where's the chewing one?
The chewing one is there. It's just as fast
Yeah.
as we can chew. I have one. I want to quickly revisit that.
Hang in.
It's not an official rule that we can't pick 2 that are similar. They're both very different, and we both like them both. I mean, is it?
I mean, the thing
Is it? So maybe I'm gonna put, just because we both really liked that one, and it did get in a lot of our lists. So I wonder
Which one?
I just saying that there's no reason. I mean, I don't like having 2 that are the same joke.
Oh yeah.
But they're different enough, even though
they're definitely different enough.
they're different enough, and they're both good. So I feel bad about having to just choose
Sure.
one.
So now we have to knock one out.
So left our lunch in the car is the weakest in my head.
I would agree.
Bob?
Where? So I was.
Well, it could have been worse. We could have. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Well, it could have been worse. We could have left our lunch in the car.
We want to knock it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, knock it out.
So cold.
Yeah, cheapskates. Where's
Let me. So we are. I have to get.
Those are 6 good ones.
Yeah, these are 6. I'm happy with these 6. Let me just make sure I get these out. Put them all on the image.
Todd, do you know what happens now that there's one winner and 5 runners up, and the winner gets $500?
Yes. Okay.
And the other 5 get $100 each.
Sounds good.
And the rest complain to Trevor.
Literally.
All right, let me get. No, they write in. They write in pretty much every line. Customer service to tech. All right, let me see. So real quick, we have to be very careful about this. Okay, be careful is there. Bummer is there. I sold the hazard sign. Yeah. Lunch is there.
You know what? 2 more bites and when we check for survivors is better, because it's just so. I think it's very funny. Hang in there, Dave. This is as fast as we can chew. But you're right, Trevor. The way it's punctuated and the way it's formatted, is just not right. Exactly.
There's something a little weird, but I think chewing faster is funnier than saying I got to chew fast versus one more bite. So I don't. It's tough. It's a hard.
Well, it's a very funny line. This is as fast as we can chew. It's just weird.
Well, they're both in the top 6, so we don't have.
It's funny how my mind transferred that to something I thought was better, which was we're chewing as fast as we can.
Yeah.
Which is better than this is as fast as we can chew.
Right.
But so.
I think they're trying to end with the punchline, but it would have been better.
Yeah.
But maybe as far as choosing the winner, maybe we should go with Bummer.
Well, let's go to the image.
Also, you could change Dave to Todd. That might make it funnier.
Yes. Or Kevin. All right, here we go. I sold the hazard signs and bought lunch. Explains everything, is a bow, but not making anyone laugh.
It made me laugh, but it's not a winning caption.
Be careful, you're getting crumbs all over my car. Good finalist.
Yeah.
Hang in there, Dave. This is as fast as we can chew.
Yeah.
So that it's that or the other one.
2 more bites, and then we check for survivors.
Yeah, that's better.
I'll vote for that one.
Yeah, okay.
I did hear some yelling, but that was a couple days ago.
I'm sorry, that one makes me laugh. I love how dark that one is. I mean,
yeah. What's funny is right for some reason today I'm looking at the guy talking and just trying to see what is most likely for him to say, which I know is not the point of this, but it matters today.
No, I think it's an interesting point because
normally I'm not as obsessed with that, but today I'm like, is this guy right here?
There's been some eye tracking studies on caption contests between improv comedians and controls, and the improv comedians are always looking. In other words, the controls are just looking at it generally, and they're trying to come up with something. The improv comedians are always focusing on the details.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, they're always just looking, just really looking before they get the idea. It's a different brain patterns. And I think that's true in that when you want to, I don't know how Lawrence does it, but I think when you look when you just spend some time really looking and feeling this, and that guy is sort of interesting. But I mean, that's a funny caption. It doesn't, I think it can't be the winning caption because we do want ones that take we know what the major incongruity is, but there's a minor incongruity here is that these guys are eating and not just looking over this thing.
Yeah.
Bummer about the chimps and Todd.
Although maybe in a way the reason why that's funnier with them, it's still funnier with them eating. That line is, I did hear some yelling, but that was a few days or weeks ago. Why is that funnier with them eating? Because it shows their complete indifference.
Right.
That's what I was saying an hour ago.
We couldn't understand you because of your heavy accent.
All right. So are we deciding between these two, or have we decided?
I don't think it should be hanging there, Dave. I think that's fine as a finalist, but
but
it's not the winning.
I've been persuaded.
I would say it's between survivors and it's been a couple days.
I like the couple of days one. But
No, we're not going to have that first of all. No.
All right, then it's survivors.
That can't be. It's I do. We do have to go with something that actually addresses the two incongruities.
Well,
okay.
So the two
survivors
are the two more
survivors. Two more bites.
Yeah, I like it.
2 more bites is a great setup. 2 more bites, and then it's those two very incongruous emotional things. 2 more bites and survivors.
So we have decided.
Yes, we have.
All right. So we have now decided on the winner of this month's caption contest. 2 more bites, and then we check for survivors by Grant Meikle. Congratulations to Grant.
That's not a cartoonist, is it?
No, we do have a. Oh my gosh! Wait a second. It is a cartoon.
It's okay if it is.
Yeah, it is. He did
the airmail.
He did. Yeah.
Hey, Grant, now all those airmails that we didn't buy.
Yeah, according to rules, he's as long as it's it's open to anybody.
So this is the second time. Did Bob Eckstein win?
No cartoonist has won the grand prize before.
All right.
I will go into his. Yes, that is his email. All right. We have a cartoonist.
So there it is. See, Grant, I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
Is he a New Yorker cartoonist or an airmail cartoonist?
Airmail I don't know.
I don't know if he's been in but Grant is Squiggly G is the last contest.
Squiggly G, right. Okay.
So,
I think he has been in the New Yorker.
Oh, he has? Okay, yeah, because
I think, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're probably making more money from our caption contest than you are from the New Yorker.
So Grant actually did the last caption contest, the cats and the box.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's on a hot streak.
Grant is cleaning up.
I know. He's
all right. I like that.
I think maybe it's like in typical ways. I think we should take 50% of his sales, like other cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Who are the runners up?
I
have to be very careful here. So let me take my time on some of these.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Right.
Problems.
So we have, be careful, you're getting crumbs all over my car. Vincent Coca.
Oh, Vin. All right. He'll be all right.
Really, so he gets a 1099 from us every year now.
Bummer about the chips and drinks. And Todd. Peter C. Sergeson. We're getting some repeat winners here.
Yeah.
Has he won? Has he been a finalist too before?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, I know that name.
Peter has. I sold the hazard signs and bought lunch. Stephen Nadler.
Oh, okay.
Just looking that one up, there is another caption that had hazards. He should turn on the hazards, which is kind of funny. So props to Sylvana. He should turn on the hazards. That didn't, not a winner, but it was a funny one that no one talks about. We did the 2 more bites a couple days ago. Is Grover Gallup. I did hear some yelling, but that was a couple days ago. Grover Gallup. What a name. Grover Gallup.
Okay, good. New person.
A new person there.
Yeah, thank God.
I don't know any Grovers, actually.
Grover Cleveland, twice president of the United States.
Personally.
Between terms, like
the
22nd and the 24th. And between him was Benjamin Harrison. How do I know this? Because I had no idea who the presidents were. And I went up on Brainscape and said, well, I want to memorize some things. I memorized the presidents.
Oh.
That's a great history of skipping a term and coming back.
Yeah.
So hang in there, Dave. This is as fast as we can chew. Charles Ingwerson. So he's actually won before as well. So congratulations, Charles. Congratulations to our cartoonist Grant Meikle. Thank you very much, Todd, for joining us. And like Bob said, please check out Todd's work. I think his captions are always so tight and his drawings are so clear. He's a
wonderful. Todd is a wonderful cartoonist.
Yeah.
And if you were younger, I'd say give up your day job and vote it. But now everybody's just got to scrape. I mean, that's the situation, unfortunately.
That's right.
But you do well on CartoonStock. I think we when I'm looking at some of your cartoons have generated. Which one is it? It's the one with the teenage kids like smashing the mailbox, about to smash the mailbox, and they say we'll look back on this and something once our neocortex is developed. Which is like a lot of cartoons you do, which has some other idea behind it.
Well, I'll quickly pull up Todd's best-selling one before we sign off here. But then also, while we're here, Todd, you have to change your AOL address at some point. I don't know.
Either all really shows like you are really old or you are really important.
20th century
really important people like with AOL. It's like, why? AOL doesn't exist anymore, does it?
I think it does. Doesn't it?
America Online. Oh my God.
Yes.
Those were the days.
Wow.
Those were the days.
I'm trying to pull it up here, but I'm not getting it. Give me one more.
Well, meanwhile, we can. Oh, what is that? I forgot to share it. So this is. I tried to.
So here is Todd's. Someday, when our prefrontal cortexes are fully developed, we'll look back on this and shake our heads.
and Todd did that back in 2013.
Yes, his best-selling cartoon, and
it's been generating money for him in dribs and drabs
ever since. Well, thank everyone for entering, and see you guys next month.
Yeah.
Bye.